Imagine this, you press the power button on your computer and instead of Windows loading, hackers tool one alongside with your Windows. It is scary, right? Well, this is possible if you don't understand the very first layer of your computer, BIOS, and the boot menu. And today, I'll show you why this is the first battlefield in cybersecurity and also hacking. Welcome to the Root Access, and this is the part 4 of learning Windows from a cybersecurity perspective. And we will cover BIOS, UEFI, boot menu, and setup. However, why you need them and how they can be both a hacker's weapon and a defender's shield. What is BIOS or UEFI? Okay, so BIOS stands for Basic Input Output System. It is very first program that runs major power on your computer. It checks your CPU, RAM, and storage and hands control to the Windows. So basically, BIOS was an older version. Okay, now UEFI is basically a modern version of BIOS. It is faster. It supports large hard drives. BIOS UEFI is critical because hackers can attack this layer, rootkits, or firmware malware that hide below. If this layer is compromised, antivirus won't even see it. Why knowing BIOS, boot menu, and setup is important? When you are installing Windows, you can't just double click something from inside your old system. Basically, you need to tell your computer that boot from this thing, not from that thing. If you don't know these keys, you will be stuck watching Windows load normally over and over again. Now, from a cybersecurity perspective, BIOS and UEFI is the lowest layer of the computer. Hackers sometimes target this with bootkits or firmware malware which can hide underneath Windows. That is why knowing how to access setup is important. You can check boot order, enable secure boot, or reset things if they look suspicious. How do you get into the BIOS or UEFI setup? So basically, you just have to restart your computer. Here are the most common keys for BIOS UEFI setup. Boot menu. Boot menu is a shortcut that lets you pick where to boot from just once without changing BIOS setting permanently. Okay, so if you access your BIOS and change the setting there, normally your system boot from the hard drive, but to install Windows, you want it to boot from your USB or DVD installer instead. Okay, so here are the most common keys can be used to access BIOS. So this boot menu can be abused by hackers or attackers to boot their own tools. Okay, so let's now talk about setup utility. From here, you can change the boot order, decide if USB or hard drive come first, enable or disable hardware features like virtualization. You basically can run multiple virtual machines or VMware in your laptop. We'll see about that. Keys for setups are same as BIOS keys. So basically, like you just have to press escape or F10. I hope you understand these things: BIOS, boot menu, and setup. They're not just boring startup screen. They are the foundation of how your computer boots, the first line of the defense against cyber attacks. I'll see you in the next video.